Here we are on Friday again. I remembered to take the videos off from yesterday. I haven't edited them yet, but I've got a clean SD card, so we're good. Hopefully, if I don't, and I'm figuring out how to turn the camera on and off so that it doesn't just black the screen out and stay on and then erase all my footage. Hope that we can get to the idea of abandonment. Like today, childhood issues that keep us choosing people who don't choose us. Oh, look at the sky. Is that the sky? Oh, that's a reflection. I thought there was a huge pillar of clouds in your picture and you could see. It just looks like a reflection of the cosmos. So if you have the tendency to choose people who don't choose you, and they make you work really hard for any little shreds of dignity and respect that you get from them, if they make you work hard for any kind of affirmation or validation, the reason you may be choosing people like that and attracting people like that is because you don't feel worthy. Your childhood traumas and shame and guilt may lead you to a pattern that you repeat in life that keeps you from choosing people who choose you. And so to break out of it, you can't just give yourself a pep talk and say, well, I'm going to stop choosing people who don't choose me. I'm going to stop being attracted to situations of cat and mouse where I'm working so hard and they're not doing anything. And all the energy is flowing towards them and away from me. If you look back and that's the kind of pattern you grew up with, it'll seem familiar and safe, and your subconscious will choose it because it's something familiar. And so to break the pattern, you have to go back and do the work. It's called shadow work. You have to go back and heal that inner child who was afraid of being abandoned, who still is afraid of being abandoned, who's afraid of rejection, who doesn't feel worthy, who feels ashamed and guilty. And when you show your inner child that they're worthy, that they are beautiful, and the law of assumption, not I'm getting healed, I am healed. I have no wounds, I have no deficiencies, I have no guilt, I have no shame, and then you claim that, then the power starts to come through you. You start to realize that you are worthy of all the good, and you are worthy of people in your life who affirm you easily, who are ecstatic to be with you, who are wildly attracted to you, who aren't half-assed about it. But you have to believe that about yourself. And when you do, everything changes, and you open up, and you're vulnerable, and you're at peace with yourself. And then other people feel safe around you, and other people feel that confidence and that goodness, that innate goodness. And suddenly, the people that have their own shadows, the people that have their own doubts and shame and guilt, who are narcissists, who treat you like you're less valuable, they start to react also to the new healing within you, and sometimes they start to lose their shit. Sometimes they increase the abuse or increase the neglect, which is worse than abuse. And then things come to a head. And then, as the universe is wont to do, it faces you again and again with these challenges until you finally do what you need to do. It presents the same challenges over and over again until you find the guts, the pluck to finally do the thing relentlessly. That seems to be the prime directive of the universe, to just keep you facing whatever you don't want to face until you finally conquer it. And it may take lifetimes, or you may never do it. I'm reminded of some of my children when they were taking swimming lessons, and one of the lessons was to dive off, or not even dive off, just jump off the low board at the swimming pool, just to jump into the water. And that feeling of being paralyzed on the end of the board, not being able to jump, and having to walk back, and not feeling like they could do it. So that may be one lifetime. But then another lifetime, again, you're going to be faced with that. You have to walk to the end of that board and look down at the water until you finally jump. And then you'll get other challenges. The board will be higher. There will be more and more. And when you've faced every fear and faced every challenge, I have a feeling that new vistas open up until there's just no more fear ever. Just none. You'll see people in your life that you think are close to that. And that's where we all want to go. I'm going to the Poconos again. I was in the Poconos yesterday. You'll get to see that when I'm done editing. And yesterday was a place I hadn't been before. Today is too. So I'm going to take some time now and program my GPS and make sure I can get there. My load isn't ready. We've had that lately where the loads aren't ready when we get here. So I have extra time to talk to you at the beginning. Probably the next time the sun will be up. It looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day again, like yesterday. So catch you on down the road. So as I hooked up to my trailer this morning and pulled it out of the door, it was a door 88. 88 is great. If you're a piano player, I hope you enjoy that. You can go bet it on the lottery. As I pulled out of door 88, it was a little difficult, and I thought maybe I was in sideways in the restraint system that holds the trailers back up against the door. But as I pulled out and then went to check the seal on the load, I noticed that the brakes were sticky and I could hardly get going. So I had to pull the trailer around to the shop, and it took an extra hour or so to change the back right brake engagement system, whatever that piece is called. It was difficult for them to get it off, but then everything was fine. So now I'm out going towards the Poconos. The sun is bright this morning. I hope it's not blinding you. This is 222 northbound, headed towards Allentown. My backhaul is in Allentown, so I'll be up north of Allentown and then back up on Highway 476. So I'll check back in later. Just finished my delivery in Blakesley, Pennsylvania, in the Poconos, coming back down the hill towards Allentown. This road turns into 476, or leads to 476. That's where I left you, coming up 476. Now I'll be headed back down the same way. Just thought you should see a little bit of this. Just picture this in about a month. Things are changing more slowly up here. I was way down in Virginia and was looking at all the pine trees and all the red dirt, and then up here, and now we've got rhododendrons. A little bit different. I just thought of something that kind of fits in with what I said earlier about demons. Demons are real, whether they're spirit or flesh or both. I'm about to head into a tunnel. I'm still in the Poconos, although I shouldn't be. But I won't blame it on demons. I did have that brake mess up on the trailer that I told you about, and that delayed me quite a bit. And for the first time I had 2 stops on my trailer, and I didn't realize it. Always before, if I have 2 stops, one is a backhaul. So what happened is I delivered 2 stops to the first stop. Then I went to the second stop and said I had a pickup. They said, no, you have a delivery. Look, it's right here. Sure enough, I had a delivery. So then I called dispatch and I said, what do I do? And they headed me back to the first stop in Blakesley to get the stuff for the second stop that I left there. So I ran up there, and someone was there already. He'd already noticed and called. So he had everything separated and ready to go on the truck. So that was good. The trailer has 2 zones, a frozen zone. The trailer I'm pulling today. Usually I don't have 2 zones. Also, I have crates in the trailer because they send back empty crates at all the stops that have a 2-zone delivery. So I had ice cream in the front, in the nose of the trailer, and I had tea and soft serve ice cream, which I see looks like it's in milk jugs, and lemonade in the refrigerated part of the trailer. So I got back there and put the ice cream up in the nose. I had the reefer on, and everything was cooled down to 20 below zero in the front. Then I put the buffer in, and then I put the tea in it was just tea, I think, for the second stop. Got that zone set for 36 degrees. And then I was just about to leave back for Allentown to deliver it there, and texted dispatch. They said they had to reschedule it. So now I'm headed home. They saw it, but I learned that both stops were new for me, so I learned how they work. I learned how to navigate. There was a big accident. I saw it on Highway 22. It was going the opposite direction I was going, to Allentown. So then I was going to come back, and I was going to have to go through that accident. So I put Siri on. Usually I just have Siri on in the background without a destination to tell me about stuff on the shoulder. But this time I turned her on to get me back up to Blakesley, and she sent me the opposite direction on 22. Instead of west, I went east and took Highway 33 up to Blakesley. And that was beautiful, and it was good to see another way to get there. Just as good, almost as fast, maybe equally fast. So I guess a point you could make is greater, equal or greater. And you don't know everything that's happening in the background, and you don't know why things happen. You see that you make choices, like if you screw something up, then you know why it happens, and then you think, don't blame metaphysical forces, just figure it out and then learn, and that's all good. It's good to learn. Demons, one of their chief functions is to accuse us, make us feel guilty and ashamed, make us feel smaller than we are. We are children of the universe. We're colossal. We're magnificent. And the only way to control us is to make us ashamed or fearful. So if the game requires demons so that we can learn how to be magnificent and opulent, living in abundance with resistance, with hateful resistance, then we are like, we're post-Stockholm Syndrome, we're post, I guess, being afraid of things. We get to the point where we're not afraid of things. It doesn't do any good if we don't have any things to be afraid of. So we need things to be afraid of so that we can become bulletproof. I've mentioned before about demons, so go back and watch that one if you want a little more context. I believe that we get what we believe we deserve. So if we don't have, it might be the subconscious mind sending signals out that we don't deserve. If we don't have respect from others, if we don't have money, if we don't have status and a good love life, good sex life, good friendships, it may be that deep down inside we're not sure we're worthy of all that. That may be one of the key ways we self-sabotage. If we doubt that we're worth it, if we doubt that we're worthy, we'll hear those voices in our head saying, "You fucked up. That must mean you're a fuck up." And I have those voices from my childhood because of my relationship with my dad. You know, according to him, I just couldn't do anything right. And it was because I was flawed. There was just something wrong with me, and that's why I couldn't do anything right. And that's what demonic forces do to us. And from a very vulnerable age, like from birth, that's what I was taught about myself. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. I don't know how many times I heard that. You can't do anything right. You're worthless. And you internalize that guilt and shame, and you become cowed. When someone gets angry, you become cowed, and you accommodate the anger. You accommodate what they do to be in control, hiding their own fears usually, hiding their own insecurities, doubting that they are all that, and then using ridicule and punishment and everything else to put other people lower than they are, because then they feel safer if they know that other people they can control and diminish. And it's a vicious circle. It's often passed on to the next generations. So if hypothetically dispatch reacted by saying, "Oh shit," you know, not like, "Oh, you're worthless, you piece of crap, can't believe you did that," but if you have shadows of hearing things like that when you were a child, then if you feel any residual pain, that's a wonderful opportunity for you to go back and help heal that little boy who got yelled at a lot and ridiculed and diminished. And you go back and you talk to him, reassure him, and then when the people now, you know, I'm old now, but I can still feel that inner child sometimes. And it's a great opportunity, even at my age, at any age, even at my dad's age. My dad is almost 80. I'm sure if he did some work on himself, maybe he has been, I haven't talked to him much for a long time. But I think it's possible at any age to go back and, I guess, ameliorate, I guess, soothe and comfort and encourage that little boy or girl that has all that damage. And you can heal it. Just like that. It can happen quickly. It doesn't have to be a long process. Once you internalize the idea, the belief, that it isn't your shit, that you didn't do it, it isn't because there's anything inherently wrong with you, it just was issues that got passed down from generations ago, and it's not your fault. And once that clicks, once that is deep enough, that seed is planted deep enough to grow, then it can be very quick, and then you suddenly release it. I'm fine. I'm not a fuck up. I'm okay. I'm happy with myself. I'm a brilliant, colossal child of the universe, magnificent in every way. I deserve money and sex and love and joy and peace and comfort. I deserve all the good that the universe has for me. Once you get there, guess what? You get all those things. They're all ready. They're all waiting. You just have to get there inside. And once the flip switch is inside, then everything opens up. And this, for some, is even better. Once you get yourself to that place, it's very easy for you to reassure other people and their inner child. And if you work with children, you have a really good opportunity to head things off in the past. If you're a parent, a teacher, or have any contact with children, which includes college-age children, there's a lot of wonderful opportunity when you're 19 to figure things out before you live another 4 decades or 5 decades or 6 decades. You know, if you can get a lot of this work done when you're 19, it's so good. But at any age, it's so good. There's no reason to regret whatever age you are when you figure it out. Now, for me, if I go back and listen to this, it's going to be very helpful because if I have, I'm figuring this out, and it's going deep enough to stick. But if I do need reminders, I can go back. And if you are helped by hearing...
1 3/4 miles, take exit 56 on the right to US 22 East, then keep right.
They're both sending me on 22 East. That's where the big accident was, so it must be cleared out by now. I was going to say, if this helps you, then you can watch it again. And if you know people that would be helped by this message, then please share it with them. I'm not trying to, I'm not going to monetize the channel or anything. I'm not trying to sell things like a lot of channels are.
In 1 mile, exit right.
Right. But if you think of people that could benefit, then I think that helps your karma too. It feels good to be in a universe where everybody has everyone else's back, and we're trying to help each other. I wonder if that bothers some people when I take both hands up the wheel. Oh well. We don't have a lot of audience, but it would be fun if we did. I think we could have
Take exit 56 on the right to US 22 East, then keep right. 1/4 mile, exit right.
I think we could have a really good community. Alright, well, that was 476 again. It was beautiful.
Exit right.
And from here you've seen a lot of the journey, and it's a beautiful day again. But I think I'll leave you here. Gotta make sure I turn this off the right way. Talk to you soon. Probably the best thing about what I was doing a few minutes ago is that I was doing it for myself. I was talking to myself. And listening to someone else can be helpful, but it won't completely change your life unless you have the talks with yourself. Unless you learn to have conversations
0.1 miles, keep right.
with that bruised and wounded inner child, until that child lets go of the bruises and wounds and admits
Continue on Pennsylvania 100.
there's not a thing wrong with me. There's not a thing wrong with me. Nothing. All the wounds were not my fault, not my shit, not my issues. There's not a thing wrong with me. You have to have that talk with yourself. It won't do any good. It won't do as much good if I tell you. You have to tell you. So if nobody ever hears this but me, it's still a very good thing for me. And it's worth doing all the time. Anytime I have doubts or fears or worries or anxieties or guilt or shame, I feel undeserving. Because you know why the demons want you to be feeling like that. You know why world leaders want us all to feel like that. If you didn't have your tinfoil hat ready, go ahead and pop it on. The psychopaths running the world, the imperialists mostly running the world, control us with fear. And so there are systems in place, whether they're physical or metaphysical, or both. And metaphysical is probably just a higher technology that we don't know about. So have some woo-woo and conspiracy theory at the same time. But it is in people's best interests who are running things, or they think it is, to have us afraid. So if there's anything you're afraid of, you know it's not helping you, but it is helping somebody if they're trying to control you. Now, if you use fear, if you use gaslighting to control other people, you want to get yourself out of that state right away, because your karma is not going to be very good. If you see that, and it's possible that you are being treated that way, and then passing that treatment right along down the shit stream. So think about that too. Improve your karma by refraining from using fear and guilt and shame to control others. Yeah, that just popped into my head. And I know you haven't seen this part of 222. This is farther north than I usually show you, and it looks especially wonderful, so I'm glad you got to see more of it.